Hello and welcome to the news at 8. Now, days after torrential rains triggered floods and landslides across several districts in Maharashtra, killing at least 112 people and leaving dozens still missing, two national highways remain closed to the traffic along with other key roads, making it difficult to evacuate people who are stranded on the roofs of their submerged homes. Frightening visuals from the roads outside the Sangliwadi village in Sangli district highlight the severity of the situation, including one shot that shows a lorry with water up to the driver's cabin.
Sangli district remains one of the worst affected by floods. Road connectivity is a challenge as flood waters are flowing through the roads. Fields nearby also have been inundated. As you can see, the standing crop completely underwater, and farmers say the losses could be as bad as the 2019 flood in Sangli. Barely 2 kilometers from the city, but the road has completely disappeared here. Villages are cut off as the Krishna river has overflowed. Fish were seen washed up on the road by the flood waters. While villagers have been moved to safety, stray canines are stranded on rooftops. Locals fear the worst.
आज शाम तक वो 2019 का पानी जितना आया था उतना हो जाएगा. पानी बढ़ रहा है. अभी उतर नहीं रहा. आज सुबह से थोड़ा बारिश हुआ है लेकिन उतना नहीं हुआ. पहले परसों हुआ था उतना नहीं.
Some villagers are trying to make their way through flooded roads in waist-deep water as their houses have been completely submerged. In Kasbedegraj village, boats are being used for transport on what were roads a few days ago. Most residents are at a nearby college, which has been turned into a relief camp. Village after village in Sangli is flooded with water inundating homes and also the fields. Now, this is of course one of such villages which have been completely inundated by flood water. People from this village have been moved to a relief camp. Of course, villagers say that the damage could be as bad as 2019 floods or even worse if the flood waters continue to remain so as they are.
रिवर के साइड की जो लोग हैं उसका डर थोड़ा ज़्यादा है. इधर का डरना थोड़ा कम है.
Around 80,000 people have been evacuated to relief camps in Sangli. Arrangements for food and water have been made. These women who've been here at this relief camp since Friday say they're scared.
3 दिवस झाले इथं आलोय आम्ही आणि गावात पाणी आलं त्याच्या आदल्या दिवशी गुरुवारी पाणी तिथं आलं. शुक्रवारी आम्ही घर सोडले. ते 10 फूट पाणी आहे घरात. नाही आता
नदीकडेलाच घर आहे ना. 10 फूट पाणी आहे घरात. बाळासाहेब शिंदे यांनी सोय केली.
Villagers say they are worried that this year is going to be a repeat of 2019. Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who visited Chiplun today, said the Konkan region is used to heavy rainfall but hasn't seen something like this. He or the Deputy Chief Minister is expected in Sangli on Monday and says the relief plan will be announced with the help of the centre after the total damage is assessed. Village after village remains completely submerged in Sangli. Now this village of course has been completely inundated by flood waters. Ground floor houses cannot be lived in. People living in one-storied houses have been moved out from here. They've been moved to a nearby church and a nearby college. But if you see in these pictures, the entire village completely inundated, including the main road leading into the village, and all houses that have ground floor homes are completely inundated. Only those who are living on the first floor are able to live in the village. The rest have all been evacuated to a nearby college and a nearby church so that they can be safe and lives are not lost. In Sangli, with camera person Rajendra Dhayalkar, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And at least 9 people are dead and 2 others have been injured in a massive landslide in Himachal Pradesh's Sangla Valley. In a terrifying video, large chunks of rocks can be seen breaking off a mountain and rolling down into the valley below. This video also shows a section of the bridge then collapsing, crumbling and plunging into a river after it's hit by a big boulder. All of the 11 victims were tourists whose vehicles got hit by these boulders. The injured have been rushed to a nearby hospital. And amidst rumours over change in the leadership in Karnataka, the Chief Minister Yediyurappa flew to Belagavi, one of the flood-affected districts in the state. Rain has lessened now, but torrential rain over the last few days in several districts of the state left 9 dead and 3 missing. Thousands had to be evacuated after their homes were flooded. Dams in the northern region, including the Almaty Dam, released water as the river levels rose. The Met Department has removed the red alert that had been in place for many districts, but says that heavy rain will continue in some areas until the 28th. Now, boats have been used by the NDRF and other disaster relief agencies to rescue stranded people. And the Chief Minister, as he tours flood-affected parts of the state, has one ear to his phone as he's expecting to receive a message from the BJP High Command about his political future. The 78-year-old had made a sudden visit to Delhi earlier this month, where he met with the Prime Minister and other senior party leaders as exit talks loom large. There are, however, questions now over whether the 78-year-old will be asked to step down in the midst of the state battling such terrible floods.
ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು 2 ವರ್ಷ ತುಂಬಿದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವರ್ಷದ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಧನೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾತನಾಡೋದೇನಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಂತರ ಉಳಿದ ಸಂಗತಿಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೋಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ನಾಳೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ನಿಮಿಷದವರೆಗೂ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರೋ ಆವಾಗ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿದ್ಧ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ 2 ತಿಂಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆನೇ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆದರೆ ಈಗಲೂ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪುನರಾವರ್ತಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇದುವರೆಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಸೆಂಟ್ರದಿಂದ. ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅವರು ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಂದುವರಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನನ್ನ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ರಾತ್ರಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ ಇದೆ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಡ್ಡಾ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು, ಪಕ್ಷದ ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷರು, ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದರಂತೆ ನಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾದಂಥ ಪಕ್ಷದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತ ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ. ಅವ್ರು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಬೇರೆ ವಿಷಯಕ್ಕೂ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕಾದು ನೋಡೋಣ, ನಾಳೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆವರೆಗೇನೋ, ನಂತರ ನಾನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೊಂಡೆ.
And Maya Sharma joins us for more. Maya, you know, it's ironic that as you'd reported, when Yediyurappa took over from the coalition government in 2019, floods were battering the state and he had visited Delhi. He was then sent back to the state by Amit Shah, telling him to focus on the flood situation. And for days, I remember you doing stories talking about how the people of the state had, you know, no cabinet ministers in charge to oversee rescue and relief operations. And here we are, you know, we've come full circle. So when are we expecting any clarity on this leadership issue? Because the people of the state are due at least that much.
Political drama never very far away from Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, the BJP's first ever South Indian Chief Minister. Yes, when he took over 2 years ago, there were floods. There was nobody else in the cabinet. He was on the ground. He was sent back from Delhi to look into what was happening. Now, 2 years on, when speculation about his being asked to step down is really swirling all over the place, he once again is looking into the flood situation in the state after the state was battered by heavy rains. Now, of course, ever since that sudden visit to Delhi about 9 days ago, he has been asked all the time, are you resigning? Have you resigned? Is the centre asking you to step down? He's answered that question over and over again. But late last week, he did say that 25th, that is today, would be when he actually heard as to what his political future would be. And he reiterated then, of course, that he would do whatever he was told to do. If he was asked to quit, he would quit. If he was asked to continue, he would continue. Well, the 25th is here, Sunday is here, and as of now, he says there is still no news from the centre, but that he is still expecting some message later tonight or tomorrow morning. Tomorrow also significant because it marks his 2nd year anniversary of taking over from the Congress Janata Dal Secular Coalition government. There will be celebration of that. There will be an event at the Vidhan Sauda to actually mark that 2 years, where he'll be talking about his achievement. Party President JP Nadda has also said that Yediyurappa has been doing good work. He made that statement today. So is that what does that mean? That is what the High Command thinks about him? Yediyurappa himself has said there was no talk of resignation when he met the Prime Minister and other BJP leaders in Delhi. He has once again reiterated today that he's ready to step down if needed, but we'll have to wait and see.
Thanks so much, Maya, for that. We'll come back to you for more updates. And even before the dust settled on the Punjab Congress leadership tussle, the Rajasthan cabinet expansion is now on the Congress's agenda. From Captain Amrinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu, the new players now are Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, who are involved in a standoff. After a day of meetings with party MLAs, Ajay Maken, the General Secretary in charge for the state, says a final decision has been left to the party high command.
तो ये हमारा काम नहीं है ना, ये आला कमान का और मुख्यमंत्री जी का विशेष अधिकार है कि वो किसको कैबिनेट में रखें, किसको कैबिनेट में नहीं रखें। ये हमेशा हमेशा से होता रहा है कांग्रेस में। हम बीजेपी की तरह थोड़ी है जो जासूसी करा के मंत्रियों को हटाते हैं।
कोई भी ऐसी चीज को हम तारीख के साथ बांधना नहीं चाहते। मैं सिर्फ दो बातें कहना चाहता हूं कि कहीं पर भी कोई भी विरोध नहीं है, आपस में विरोधाभास नहीं है, सब निर्णय हो चुका है। और दूसरा, हर जो हमारे कांग्रेस के लीडर हैं, सबने आला कमान के ऊपर, केंद्रीय नेतृत्व के ऊपर विश्वास जताया।